Welcome back to the news on Mr. Tien channel. Stronger storms will be more widespread as we go deeper into today and then tomorrow, especially as we head back into parts of the Alps and northern Italy for some stronger storms, some hail, gusty winds, tracking that into parts of Spain and then back into France. So they're going to be a little stronger, and the heat is helping to create some of that instability. That summer heat is really working in above average temperatures for many of us. We have an old vortex that's located over Belarus, tracking toward Ukraine, Lithuania, Latvia. We've had a lot of clouds, especially away from the water this morning, and then we see this vortex here. This could actually help bring a few thunderstorms across some parts of the British Isles, so that's something to keep an eye on as we get very late today into this evening. There could be one or two showers, not necessarily severe here, but just looking at Ireland towards Wales and then turning back into some parts of England. We're looking towards Milan, even turning back into Venice, Slovenia, turning into southern parts of Switzerland, seeing the potential for some storms, and then Albania back into Greece, looking at the potential for some storms to come in, then scattered elsewhere. But some of these could be strong to severe, and we'll see that as we get into the weekend. So a higher threat of thunderstorms will be building up this weekend because of the heat, the hail, the damaging winds. Some hail could be on the big side, so there's going to be some damaging hail and some fast-flowing streams. So a lot of us are just dry on the hot side. Most of us are, but where we get these storms, they could lead to some flooding. We've got some heavy rain, which could lead to some fast-flowing streams. Now, as we head into this evening, there's just a very small chance of a showery storm moving in. There could be a few as we head back into Ireland, tracking towards parts of Wales, really into the south, and then towards England. Now, as we head through the weekend, I mentioned a few twisters coming back west into the Atlantic. As we head into tomorrow, you'll see a few showers that may or may not just come through. Anywhere from Scotland south, that's a chance of that rain. Northern Ireland back to Ireland, seeing the possibility of some showers. Not widespread, but some of us could get them in a potential thunderstorm. It wouldn't be surprising to see a lightning strike or two, so keep an eye on that as we head into Saturday afternoon. And then on Sunday, you see those swirls start to work. The next storm system is coming in, so Scotland, for example, is more likely to get some of that rain. Same with Northern Ireland. We'll be back through Belfast with the possibility of rain, even towards Dublin, as we move into the forecast on Sunday. Now, these are the storms later today. You see them coming in over Spain. We could see a few over France, and then right here, that's where some storms could be on the strong side, and then even Montenegro sees a few storms. Few and far between, but because of the temperatures, and that gives us a lot of lift in the atmosphere, and that gives us more opportunity for some of the stronger storms to develop, even after sunset tonight. As we move into Saturday, you see things flare up again right here in this area, parts of France back into Spain, not as much as we move back into Portugal, but even as we move through Italy, through Rome, we'll see the potential for a few storms, and some of them could contain some hail. So that's our Saturday afternoon, and then working through Sunday, tracking some of the moisture back to the west, and even seeing some brighter colors come in. So through here, tracking towards Tien, back into Alpes, and then back up even near Barcelona, the potential for storms. Some of those could be very severe near Madrid. Then move down to Naples, tracking some more storms. I mentioned the swirl around Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Belarus. There's that swirl. More severe weather coming back through some parts of Russia. These are thunderstorms here. And then look at some rain that's been there since earlier today. And then tonight as we head back into Norway. So look at some rain, some storms moving in. Let's get to tomorrow, and you'll see all these changes back into Sweden, down into Helsinki and Estonia, the potential for some rain. Look at the thunderstorms here. This is where the temperatures really spike, where we could get some of those severe storms, maybe even one or two, back into Turkey, and then you'll see the rain increase through Iceland. But we'll see some areas of rain just spewing out from here across the UK at times. We'll see that again as we head into Sunday, as some precipitation will build up from Iceland back into Norway, and with that, at least in the south, the potential for some storms. Here's some sunnier weather that we'll be tracking, and tracking some scattered to severe storms as we head into anywhere from Ukraine, turning back into Russia in our Sunday forecast. Now, as the temperatures continue to rise, you'll see some of these temperatures very hot, on the hot side, no doubt, tracking that towards France and Spain. That's as we head into tomorrow. Those temperatures will be scorching in a lot of places. This is the time of year that we expect temperatures to rise, and we'll see that. But with those temperatures I mentioned towards the British Isles, that could help bring on some storms. Let's see some temperatures hovering around 32 degrees, maybe 33 degrees in some places, and that could give us a little bit more lift in the atmosphere to kick off some of those storms. Same here. That's why I mentioned all that heat energy. Well, the summer heat is back, and that means we're going to see some better storm potential, and some of those storms could be strong to severe. So that's our forecast for Saturday, but as we get into next week, we're going to see some temperatures drop for some of us as we get better rain potential, but in places where we do have storms, we could have some higher totals. That could lead to some flooding in a few locations. Scotland, there's a higher chance of showers, especially on Sunday where there will be showers, and maybe around 10, maybe 25 millimeters of rain, but just watch for the slight chance of the odd thunderstorm later today and again tomorrow. Some of the rain moves back into Norway, Sweden, parts of Finland, southern areas, and even away from the water back into Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. We've been tracking some of the rain back into Belarus, seeing some of the rain that's going to stick around. If you get a thunderstorm, we could have some higher totals. We'll see the south of Switzerland, south through Italy, but even Montenegro, Kosovo, seeing a couple of isolated storms. We could have one or two, Greece one or two, but they could be strong. So as we move through the weekend into next week, even as we move back into the Baltic Sea and the North Sea, we'll see temperatures gradually increase as we move into Monday into Tuesday. So there could be a severe thunderstorm in London on Sunday. We'll see the chance of some showers just trying to break through. We'll do that again in Birmingham as we move into our Sunday forecast. That's when the chance of rain increases a little bit. Not all day. You'll see it increasing in Glasgow. The chance of rain on Sunday is higher, up to a 60% chance. We'll do that again in Dublin, a 60% chance of some of those showers moving in as we move into the second half of the weekend.
30 to 40% chance of scattered or localized storms in Rome and the Vatican. Some of them will be very strong. Be careful of lightning. And you'll see Milan tomorrow, Sunday, a localized severe weather threat, storms at 40%, 10% chance in Berlin, Baltimore on Sunday. Some kind of intermediate system, Berlin back to Munich. So the chance of rain is not high throughout the weekend, same in Paris. Most of the moisture will move south, or some of the larger storms will move southeast. A few showers tomorrow, but a little more on Sunday. At least a little more chance of showers in Stockholm. But Helsinki, the chance of rain is higher as we work through the weekend. Some showers moving in from Norway, Sweden coming down. Brussels, 10% chance of passing showers at the moment. 10% chance in Amsterdam, mostly east. Copenhagen, about 20% chance throughout the weekend. Possible sudden storms throughout the weekend in Athens. Up to a 30% chance of some showers on Sunday. Within that 50% chance, some larger storms could occur as we progress through the weekend. There could be a few storms and a 40 to 50% chance of rain around Moscow, but also some thunderstorms mixed in. But where we do have storms, some of them could be severe. Thanks for being part of this weather community. Have a great weekend. Don't forget to like, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below sharing the video so everyone knows how to stay safe.